Let's go ahead and dive in to 5 balls to watch, and that is brought to you by our good friends at Newbert Collision Center. So what do we got, Caleb? Number 5 ball to watch against Kentucky is?
Number 5 ball to watch, and it came down to because we don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback yet, whether it's Gavin Wimsatt, a more runner, or Brock Vandergriff, a drop back passer. I put Arian Carter on there because the line, like if Gavin Wimsatt's the starter, Jeremiah Thielander is going to be key. But regardless of who starts between Vandergriff or Wimsatt, Arian Carter is going to have to be key. Wimsatt, it'll be about containment, and with Vandergriff, he's going to have some opportunities as quite a few sacks. So I think that's why I put Arian Carter on there for number 5.
Okay. Arian Carter, to me, he's a known quantity. So define, if you can, for those that don't know, the balls to watch. I mean, are these ones you have questions about, or ones
no,
that
these are the
game?
these are the players, the key players that will determine the game on Saturday. And a lot of times you see repeat offenders because some players are just that good that you need them, but there are different ones each weekend. And you'll see as we go up who's different each week.
Okay. What we got? Who's next?
Number 4, Dave. This is one of the craziest ones I've ever had because I've never done this with I've never really put an offensive lineman on here, but Lance Hurd at left tackle is going to be crucial in this game. And I don't know if you guys know, but JJ Weaver, Kentucky's outside linebacker, leads the team in sacks with 5. They actually are very good at rushing the passer. If Lance Hurd's starting at left tackle coming off this bye, he had better be much, much better than he's been.
Okay. Who's number 3 as we count them down?
Number 3 on the list is a man that you have all heard of by the name of Dylan Sampson. I wasn't going to put him on this list until this past week when Jarquez Hunter rushed for 200 and something yards on Kentucky. And I realized our defensive line had quit. I'm like, well, if he can do that, what can Dylan Sampson do?
That's hot.
All right.
Dave thinks Dylan Sampson's hot, by the way.
No, I don't think Dylan Sampson is hot. I don't. It's not what I was implying whatsoever. All right, who's up next there, Caleb?
All right, number 2 on this list is, believe it or not, Jermon McCoy. And Kentucky has thrown, I believe, at this point, 8 interceptions on the year, 9 interceptions. They have thrown 9 interceptions on the year. They've been very bad at protecting the football. Almost all of them, Dave, believe it or not, 7 of them have just gone to cornerbacks, which is weird because cornerbacks usually don't get the interception. Safeties do, as you know. But Kentucky's throwing them to cornerbacks, which I would suggest to me that Brock Vandergriff is throwing to guys who are well covered and taking a shot in the dark, right? That's usually how cornerbacks get interceptions, isn't it?
No, Caleb, that's fair. So number 1, is it Nico?
Nope. Number 1 is the guy that should be able to cash in on Kentucky having the worst pass protection in the history of pass protection. And I'm obviously talking about James Pierce.
Okay.
Yes, James Pierce should get 3 sacks in this game.
Okay, you surprised me a little bit. Here's what I did with our poll question. Go to on YouTube. The most key ball in Saturday's game, other than Nico, is Arian Carter, Lance Hurd, Dylan Sampson, Jermon McCoy. The answer is Lance Hurd. And
this game comes down to Lance Hurd, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Lance Hurd plays average to above average, Tennessee wins easily to very easily. Okay, if he goes out there and struggles, he gives Kentucky a chance to win this game. And let me give you another factor in this game that's, I think, pretty unique. Would we agree that Mark Stoops is an elite defensive coach? Not head coach, but defensive coach.
Oh, yeah. I think he's very good. I think he's very elite defensive coach.
Okay. Would we agree that he's coaching for his job?
Actually, maybe.
Okay. If you talk to Kentucky media, it's gotten pretty rough around there.
Really?
Yeah. So I think he is. So what were the common denominators in against teams earlier in the season? And I think it was Ollie Lane who pointed this out. You had Brent Venables, who was number 17, I believe, at the time, but he had to know that team wasn't very good. He had offensive line health issues. He had receiver health issues, and he had a quarterback issue that we didn't know about, but we figured it out in that game. And then you had Arkansas. So those two teams are coached by tough physical guys. Brent Venables, a defensive coach, Sam Pittman, an offensive line coach that knows how important winning the battle up front is. They also have in common that they're coaching for their jobs. Mark Stoops is coaching for his job. If he comes out there in a 3-down front and a multitude of blitzes, stunts, and twists like Arkansas and Oklahoma did, and if you want to go back to 2023 and even before that, Caleb's pointed out Austin Peay did this at one point. It was successful against Tennessee's offense. If they do that, the onus is 100% on Lance Hurd. He cannot get beat on the outs in the inside. He cannot be confused. He has to be healthy now, you would think, with the bye week. He is the most important player on the field on Saturday. And I don't even think second, including Nico, is close.
I mean, you might have a point, and I might have to rework this list. I'm not here to really debate you on this. You're talking me into it. And I know this is a debate show, but he also, again, we're talking, you've seen the right side of Kentucky's defensive line, though, too. Dave Wright. I mean, they're really good. That's their biggest strength. Mm-hmm. JJ Weaver in the ends over there. I mean, they can wreak havoc. So the pressure is going to be all on Lance Hurd to be able to make sure he maintains his block. Because if he's getting beat, then Dylan Sampson, who's going to have to stay back in pass pro sometimes and has done a good job picking up blitzes, that puts more on him. And Dave, where they're in real trouble is when Deshaun Bishop's in the game, because Deshaun Bishop's not going to pick up some of those blitzes. So, I mean, he will, but he's just not big enough to block.
All right. So, our YouTube question is this. The poll question, the most key ball in Saturday's game other than Nico is Arian Carter, Lance Hurd, Dylan Sampson, Jermod McCoy. See how I did that, Caleb, without giving out the answer? The show represented by Banks and Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney. The results in 30 seconds. Well, it's because they're Tennessee's trial attorney. You can play to win with Banks and Jones because they'll go to trial. You've heard of other lawyers. They say they'll go to trial and fight for you. They won't. They just want to settle. That's the easiest way out. Well, that's not Banks and Jones, led by T. Scott Jones. They won't settle. They'll go to trial for you. Tennessee's trial attorney. They play to win. Truly, Tennessee's trial attorney when it comes to criminal defense or personal injury. Why settle? It's Banks and Jones. T. Scott Jones. BanksandJones.com. Give me the answer to that poll question, Caleb. Where do we stand?
All right. So the most key Vol Saturday's game other than Nico, right now it's 50% Dylan Sampson, and it's rising up to 60% now. So people are disagreeing with us, Dave. But Lance Hurd second at 25%. Arian Carter 17%. Jermon McCoy 0%. I understand the Jermon McCoy point. I think some people think that Kentucky's just not going to be able to pass the ball at all. So that Jermon McCoy in that way may not matter.
How many players can lose this game for Tennessee? Think about that for just a second. Hemp House, the premier hemp dispensary online with a wide variety, great selection, and strict standards. Hemp House chat with 2Ts.com. Use the promo code HOOK for 10% off. HOOK for 10% off. I got Lance Hurd. I got Nico. If you want to say Dylan Sampson fumbles 3 times, yes, but that's not in the realm of possibility.
We're talking about realistically not performing expectations. Basically.
Somebody that just hasn't shown up at some point this year. I think those are the only two, because you might say safety. The safety position gives up a big play or two, but Will Brooks has been good.
Jeremiah Thielander could lose this game for Tennessee if Kentucky starts Gavin Wimsatt. Because if Jeremiah Thielander struggles to be in position consistently the way he was against Florida, Gavin Wimsatt's a running quarterback, and that could add an element that Tennessee's just not ready for.
Not a bad one.